We walk around on the surface of our planet every single day, completely oblivious to the massive, literally world-altering events happening hundreds of miles beneath our feet. Welcome to this explainer where we're going to jump right into a story that sounds, honestly, like pure science fiction, but it is 100% grounded in cutting-edge geology. We're tracking down a lost ocean. Yeah, an entire ocean, discovered deep under the continent of Africa, and we're going to figure out why it is doing something incredibly strange right now.
So let's just address the elephant in the room. How exactly does Earth swallow an ocean? It's not just a theoretical question. This is the mechanical reality of our planet. When we think of oceans, we usually think of them as permanent fixtures, right? The Atlantic, the Pacific, they define our world map. But our planet's surface is made of shifting tectonic plates, fitting together kind of loosely, almost like a cracked eggshell. When these plates collide, one can actually be forced underneath another in a really violent process called subduction. So the Earth doesn't just drink the water. The actual ocean floor, the dense rock holding that water, is violently dragged down into the fiery depths of the planet.
We really have to slow down for a second and try to wrap our heads around this immense timescale. Millions of years ago, our planet swallowed an entire ocean whole. And try to visualize the sheer scale of that. I mean, we aren't talking about a lake drying up during a bad drought. No, we are talking about a vast, thriving marine environment, complete with its own ecosystems, major currents, the whole shebang, just being systematically pulled down into the Earth's interior over millions and millions of years. It's this planetary scale disappearing act that completely remapped the surface of the globe as we know it today. But here is the ultimate plot twist. Scientists have discovered that this massive body of water didn't just evaporate, it didn't just cease to exist. Now, you'd probably assume that anything dragged down into the superheated interior of the Earth would just melt away, right? Like completely assimilated into the molten rock. But it didn't. The dense, freezing cold slabs of that ancient ocean floor actually acted like a massive thermal shield. It preserved its structural integrity as it sank deeper and deeper. So it left the surface, sure, but it absolutely refused to be destroyed.
Let's actually put a name to our quote-unquote victim in this mystery. We are talking about the ancient Tethys Ocean. This is the colossal force from the past that we're zooming in on today. The Tethys was this massive body of water that existed way back during the time of the dinosaurs, separating the ancient supercontinents. It was, without a doubt, a dominant feature of the Mesozoic era. And as those supercontinents slowly drifted and crashed into each other to form the landmasses we recognize today, the Tethys was just caught in the middle. It got squeezed, crushed, and ultimately forced underground. Honestly, it's arguably the absolute worst case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time in planetary history. Which obviously raises a massive question, right? If it didn't disappear, where on Earth is it hiding right now? It's literally the ultimate game of planetary hide and seek. For decades, geologists could look at the fossil record and the rock formation on the surface and say, okay, the Tethys Ocean used to exist. But tracking where millions of square miles of dense ocean floor actually went once it vanished beneath the crust, will that require technology we've only very recently developed? We basically had to learn how to scan the inside of the Earth using seismic waves just to finally track this thing down. And the astonishing answer is that the remains of this ancient water world are currently located deep beneath the continent of Africa. Just picture this for a second. Imagine standing in the blazing heat of the Sahara Desert, or looking out over the vast, dry savannas of the Serengeti, and knowing that hundreds of miles directly beneath your boots, the frozen, sinking ghost of an entire ocean is just suspended in the dark. It is such a mind-bending contrast between the sun-baked surface and the ancient hidden depths below. Now, the most crucial point here is that this ocean isn't just sitting down there like some giant fossil. It is actively doing three incredible things right now. It's incredibly dynamic. First off, it's still moving, still sinking and shifting. Second, because it's so massive and so much colder and denser than the rock around it, it's heavily influencing the Earth's mantle. It acts kind of like a giant blender blade falling through thick syrup, stirring up the Earth's interior. And third, all that pushing and pulling generates forces so massive that it's creating the largest gravity anomaly on the entire planet. It's actually warping fundamental physics. You can kind of think of the journey of the Tethys Ocean as this epic three-act play spanning geological epochs. Act 1 was the slow, unstoppable swallowing of the ocean via subduction on the surface, millions of years ago. Act 2 was the long, dark descent through the Earth's crust, ending up trapped deep beneath the African tectonic plate. And Act 3? Well, that's the one we're living in right now. The continuous churning movement happening deep underground today.
It's just brilliant proof that the Earth isn't some static ball of rock. It's a living, breathing engine that is constantly recycling its own surface. To really understand how this works, we have to take a look at the Earth's mantle. The mantle is this incredibly thick, churning layer of semi-solid rock that sits right between the Earth's crust and its superheated core. Think of it kind of like a lava lamp. Hot rock rises, cools off, and then sinks back down. Now imagine introducing the remains of the Tethys Ocean into that delicate cycle. You suddenly have an unbelievably huge, cold slab of ancient ocean floor plunging straight through it. It completely disrupts the natural flow of the mantle. It literally forces hot rock out of the way and completely changes the thermal dynamics of the entire region. And like we mentioned earlier, this isn't just a minor geological quirk. The sheer physical scale of this hidden ocean is triggering the single largest gravity disruption on Earth. We usually think of gravity as a constant, right? You drop an apple, it falls at the exact same speed no matter where you are. But gravity is actually dictated by mass. Because the remains of the Tethys Ocean are so incredibly dense, and because they're actively displacing the hotter, lighter rock of the mantle, there is a massive concentration of mass gathered deep under Africa. It's so heavy that it literally changes the gravitational pull in that specific part of the world. This localized warp is exactly what we mean when we say a gravity anomaly. If you were to measure the pull of gravity over the specific region, it actually wouldn't quite match the rest of the planet. And honestly, the fact that the Tethys Ocean can generate an anomaly of this magnitude, again, the largest one on Earth, just shows you exactly how much material we are talking about here. It is a chunk of the Earth's past that is heavy enough to bend the rules of physics in the present. For me, the most staggering takeaway from all of this is that an event from millions of years ago isn't just ancient history. It is a present-day force, actively reshaping our world today. When the mantle gets disrupted and gravity is altered on this kind of scale, it actually ripples all the way up to the surface. This massive anomaly beneath Africa pushes and pulls on the tectonic plates above it. It influences where magma rises, where new volcanoes might form over millions of years, and even how the continent itself might eventually stretch and tear apart. The ghost of the Tethys Ocean is essentially acting as this hidden architect, slowly redecorating the surface of the Earth from the inside out. It's just this grand, beautiful paradox. Something that vanished millions of years ago is still reshaping our world today. It really forces us to rethink what it actually means for something to be gone. Because in geology, nothing is ever truly destroyed, right? It's only relocated and repurposed. The Tethys Ocean vanished from the sunlight, it completely vanished from our maps, but it never lost its power. It just traded the ability to shape coastlines from the outside for the ability to shape the entire continental structure from the inside. So if an entire ocean can survive millions of years beneath Africa and fundamentally alter our planet's gravity, it leaves us with this final, genuinely fascinating question. What else is hidden beneath our feet? I mean, if our scanning technology is only just now getting sophisticated enough to map a sunken water world that's pulling the strings of our gravity, just imagine what other ancient mountains, lost continents, or completely vanished eras are currently churning in the dark down there, waiting to be discovered. The ground beneath you isn't just dirt and rock. It's an archive of our world's most violent and beautiful history. So next time you take a walk outside, take a second to remember exactly what might be moving hundreds of miles beneath your shoes.